Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. On this tutorial I want to show you how I decorated 4 different cakes. Alright, so my hands were properly washed and I used a paper towel to clean my work surface. Everything was clean. So I'm starting off by layering and crumb coating the 11-inch cake. So basically I'm using buttercream for the layering. This particular one, it's an anniversary cake, 18th anniversary cake. So the client said vanilla flavor all through, so that was exactly what we made. Today's hug is for Yeshua's own. I'm so glad that my videos are helpful for a home baker like you. She's watching us from London. Thank you so much. Your presence here is highly appreciated. I'm also a home baker, so I'm glad to connect with you. Thank you for watching. Please let us know where you're watching us from. Let's send you a hug in our next video. Thank you so much. So after layering your cake with buttercream or whatever filling you want, you trim it and then you flip it over. This is very important. This will help your cake not to bulge on the bottom. That is why you have to, it is necessary to flip it over and trim the bottom as well, just like so. Alright, so it's something you can always do by yourself. Yeah, it's very easy. So after that I layered the second one. Like I said, there are 4 different cakes. We'll be decorating all these in 40 minutes and a few seconds. Right, so this one is a birthday cake, 9-inch, 4 layers as well, vanilla and red velvet cakes. So you go through the same process. This is the 3rd one, and I did not bother to film the 4th one because it's all the same process, right? Layer it and cut it like this and just layer it. It's very important to layer your cakes like this so that when you're crumb coating it will be easier, because each layer will sit on each other. And as you see, the way I do it, I layer it back to back just like that, and I trim off the top. Very important. Trimming your cake is very important because so you also flip it over. It's very necessary. You must flip it over. So continue the trimming and all that. So at this point we've already done. For my crumb coat, I'm using buttercream. I just add a little cake crumbs that you've trimmed from your cake. Alright, mix it together and apply it on the cake just like that. I had to fast forward that so that I can show you this one. The process is the same, right? So because this is vanilla cake, I needed to add only vanilla cake in my buttercream. Just like that, add your vanilla cake. Whatever cake you're using should be the cake from the cake you're decorating. Do not make the mistake of using a stale cake for a fresh cake. I mean, crumb coating a fresh cake with a stale cake crumbs. It won't be nice at all. That could make your cake go bad on time, right? So after that, the process of trimming and crumb coating is almost the same. After covering the bottom, you have to flip it over. But if you can go at once, apply all the crumb coats at once, of course you can. But I find this very easy for me, so that's why I crumb coat the top, the bottom, I flip it over and then I go over to the top or the bottom. Right, so that's how it works for me. Well, whatever works for you, please go ahead with it. So after applying it like this, you can see I'm trying to use the palette knife to smoothen it, then go with the scraper and then just smoothen it. It's very easy. Your crumb coat shouldn't be too thick, it shouldn't be too light either. The consistency should just be something that you can use to apply on your cake and it will stay, like the consistency of your buttercream, right? So it shouldn't be too hard or too thin, too hard, just like that. So apply it generously on the body and then just smoothen it around. It's just basically like as if you are decorating a buttercream cake, right? The process is the same. After that, you smoothen it and then the proper decorating starts, So what I like to do is that I like to crumb coat the top as well with the buttercream, so that by the time I want to apply fondant, it's just to spray water on it or steam it, and then just start covering. But if you don't crumb coat the top like this, when you want to cover with buttercream, you have to start applying buttercream on the top again. So it's safer to just do all your crumb coat at once, right? You know that you're done with that then before you start covering, because crumb coating your cakes can be messy. So at this point, if you want to use a chocolate ganache, or this is all you want, it is perfect. Whatever works for you or whatever your client wants, just do it and ensure that your client is satisfied. All right. So the first cake I'm covering, it's the anniversary cake. That is this big one, right? So like you always know in this page, I use paneling method. I've always explained that it is easier and it saves fondant. So you apply the fondant on top just like so, and then you flip your cake over. This is a method that works for me. But if you have a method that works for you better than this, please go ahead with it. Alright, so after putting that one, you flip it over and then you just wrap the fondant around your cake just like this. It is quite easy. Even a beginner can do this. Just ensure you have a good fondant recipe. And I have a good fondant recipe on this channel. You can check it out. The fondant recipe I'm using for all my clients' cake, that is the same fondant recipe I have on my channel. So please watch it, try it out, and send your reviews. If you follow my tutorials here and then follow my cake decorating techniques, I assure you, you'll be able to decorate beautiful birthday, or wedding, whatever the occasion is. You'll be able to decorate cakes. I've heard a lot of testimonies. People come to my channel, Facebook account to tell me how helpful my videos have been to them, and it really gladdens my heart to note that a lot of people are enjoying my tutorials and it is helpful. Thank you so much. I do not take your love and your support for granted. Please always drop a comment for me. If you have questions, I will respond to it. I always respond to comments and questions, except I've not seen it. That's when I will not respond, please. Right, but I'm always available to reply your comments and your questions on this page. If you're watching us for the first time, if you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe. We drop videos every week on this channel, and I tell you, they are good videos that you would learn something from. You said that part was open. That was because I did not push the top fondant and the side fondant were together. People will always ask, where is that thing you spray on your cake when you're decorating? It is just water, ordinary water, just water. There's nothing inside, there's nothing else inside. So I apply it to stick maybe my fondant. If I want to apply, maybe I've coated a cake for a few hours and it has hardened, for the fondant to be able to stay on the cake, I will use that water in that spray bottle and just spray it on the coated cake before applying my fondant. That is the only way the fondant will stay. If I don't spray water, the fondant will not stay. So that is why you usually see me spray water on my coated cakes in my videos. So I'm using this embosser. I just got it, so I felt I should just try it for the first time, and it worked perfectly well. Right, so I made a mistake here. The mistake was to cut off the excess fondant first before using the embosser, but I made a mistake by embossing it first before removing the excess fondant, so it almost ruined. It didn't make the board very neat. If you know me very well, I love to be detailed. I love finishing neat. I love my jobs to be neat when I'm done, so I take cognizance about little mistakes and errors and all that. So that is very important. Another thing I did here was that if you watch most of my videos, you will notice that I usually cover my board after covering the cake. I'll just roll out the fondant, cut it in the middle, and wear it, drape it on the cake. But this particular one, I just needed to emboss the cake, the board. So that's why I covered the board like this, and then flip the cake over and put it on top. If you notice, I did not carry the cake with my hand from one board to the other. The transfer was, I put a board, you could go back and see it. I put a board, flip it over, then put the board I covered in fondant, and then flip it over. That way your cake will be very neat. You'll not make dents on your cake. Well, if your cakes are already dry, right, so if you can handle it without denting it, of course you can carry your cake. And besides, the cake is big, so lifting it from one board to the other, I know it will be messy. So that is why I did it the way I did, right? So I needed to apply. The cake is a very simple one, very simple. The client said, I just want something simple for an 18th anniversary, so I came up with this design, just gold and white, something really simple, and I think it's cute. So after steaming your cake, your gold leaf should be able to stay, right, just like that. Once you steam your cake, it will become sticky in the meantime, but after some time it dries out. So when it's still sticky, that is when you will apply your gold leaf. But if you don't have a steamer, you can just apply water on that particular place you want to put the gold leaf, and then just apply it. It will still stay. So you don't necessarily need a steamer, right, to apply gold leaves on your cake. You can use ordinary water. Just apply the water on that particular place and then apply your gold leaf. It's as simple as that. So like I said, it's a really simple anniversary cake. After applying the good leaf, I thought to put this first balls, and I'll leave it to you to tell me what you think, if it is beautiful or not. Please let me know in the comment section. Did you learn anything at all from this particular one? So we're done with that. Like I told you, we're decorating 4 cakes, right? So this fondant was already drying out, so I needed to apply that water I was mentioning earlier. So the process is the same. This one is a yellow cake, or should I say it's cream. So see the mistake I made. I was supposed to drop this cake on the floor before wrapping the fondant around it, but I forgot. These things I did not even know until I was editing. That was when I noticed, oh, you're supposed to drop this cake on the table. Please don't make the mistake I made. When you want to wrap your fondant on your cake, always try to put the cake on a flat surface, because putting it on a turntable, it will just be moving on its own, right? So your fondant cake may not come out smooth, like I did with the first cake. I dropped the cake on the table, but this one I made a mistake by leaving it on the turntable, so it almost ruined my fondant. But I was glad I was able to save it, right? So if you notice, this particular one, I did not try cutting off the excess with the knife on top. I just brought it back, put a board, and then flipped it over, right? These are just little techniques that works perfectly, right? So that's same at the back. Don't worry about it. I'll cover it with a mold, right? So here I've covered the board. Like I said, when this client reached out to me, I did not have a design in mind at all. I had no idea what I was doing here. Sincerely speaking, I was just decorating. Let me just try something. The client did not give me any design. Usually this particular client does not give any design. He will just tell you, busy bee, I need a cake for a man, or I need a cake for a child, or I need a cake for a lady. So it is left for you to now do anything, and he never complains. Whatever I do, he gladly comes, picks it up, and all that. So when he said he needed 2 cakes for 2 ladies, I had no idea what to do. So if you see here, I was just trying something, and eventually I think it came out well, because when he came to pick up, he liked it. Alright, so let me know, do you do sometimes just create something from the blues? Like there's no prototype, you're just creating something and eventually turn out beautiful. Have you tried with a client's job? But I don't think it's okay to try it with a customer's job anyway. But at this point, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just working. But I'm so glad it turned out well. So I needed to cut another one. This particular one, I just wanted to try something, but it wasn't good at all. I removed it. I flattened the fondant again, and I made this. I don't even know what to call them. I just folded a stripe of fondant, and I made that. Though I will show you with this other one how I did it. but as I did it, they were just falling off. See, just fold it like this and cut off the excess, just like that. So that was what I did. So here I was just trying to arrange them because this is a new design I created. So I was just trying to arrange and make it look really nice, but I think at this point I was liking it because I actually did it. I thought to myself, if eventually it did not turn out well, I would just remove it and start all over again, but it did, and there it was. We were done with that. After that, I just added a happy birthday topper and I added black force bars on the bottom just to cover those themes on the bottom. Then to the third cake here, the yellow fondant was remaining, and like I said, the client did not give me any design, so I thought to add little red like I did. You can watch it and see it how I did it. Take it back if you didn't see it well. Added little fondant like in marbling, like I said, one of my tutorials I posted last week, how I did that marbling, but this one I needed to mix the fondant and then just applied it, squeeze it together and then rolled it out just like that. So the process is still the same, right? This one is a yellow, red and white, right? A little red though and a little white, just to give me the marble effect. So the fondant here was already dry, that's why I use water. So in this video you see that I use 3 methods in wrapping my fondant around my cake. The first one was I rolled the fondant on a rolling pin. The second one I rolled it like a sausage without a rolling pin, and then this third one I lifted it from the work surface and then just wrap it around the cake. So you can try any of these three, whichever works for you. Please go ahead with it, right? There are no rules to these things. Whichever works for you, whichever is easier for you, just go ahead and go and do it, right? So you could try the 3, anyone that works, you adopt it and then start working with it, right? If you notice, you will see that after cutting out the large fondant off the board, I take my smoother and I drag the fondant down again and then use a sharp knife and remove the excess. So there are no rules to these things, like I always say. You can decide to do your sharp edges as many times as you can, but just ensure that the bottom, the cake is no longer the fondant, you are very careful with it so that it will not, your cake crumbs will not start showing on the cake, on the cake. So after that, take off the excess, flip your cake over, and then there you have it, your sharp edges. And then what do you think about this combination, yellow and red? Was it a nice combination? Would you be trying it soon? So yes, this is one of my favorite methods of board covering. It saves you fondant, a lot of it actually, so there is no fondant beneath the cake. You're just wrapping it around the board. Like these 3 cakes, the 4 cakes rather, I made 6 kg fondant and I still had left over. You usually make our fondant from scratch. The recipe is on the channel. So after covering the board, I needed to use this ball mold, and then cover the bottom of the cake, and then just to make it beautiful, because the cake did not have so much design. If you notice, I removed the fondant that was covering that seam behind, and then I used this red one, right? So this is basically how this moved, how I use this mold. Some people use a knife. After applying the fondant on it, you use a sharp knife and cut off the excess. For me, I personally like using my hand to cut off the excess, so that works perfectly for me. So there we have it. We were done with it. So this is a happy birthday topper, and the rest. Always try to remove the film from your happy birthday topper, especially in front, so that it will be as shiny as it ought to be. But if you don't remove that little nylon, the topper will not be shiny, right? So always try to remove it. So I thought about just adding these flowers, and then adding this a candle, because what's a birthday cake without a candle? It's very important on our cakes. So here is just gold color. They've interrupted our light, and then they brought it back. They interrupted it, and then of course they restored it after a few seconds. So that is gold edible luster dust we have right there, and edible spirit. So I just thought to accentuate these marble effects with the red one. So that's why I'm just painting it around just like that. And it auto occurred to me to paint the border I made on the bottom of the cake. So I painted it gold. Yeah, so this is it after painting it gold. So I think this is better. I think it is better. Onto the last cake. So this one, it's a Roblox cake. Yeah, I don't know if that's the pronunciation, but it's cartoon character. This one is for a child, 11-year-old boy. So I just applied sky blue fondant to my white fondant, and it gave me this beautiful color. The process is the same process of wrapping and all that, so just enjoy the video. So using this mode, you have to be very careful. What I did here, eventually it wasn't neat. See, it wasn't neat, so I had to start again. So watch the second way I did it. So I felt the fondant was too light. I added little CMC. I needed everything together. So I rolled it first on the table. You see where cornstarch is very important on the work surface. It prevents your fondant from sticking to the board. So I thought this method worked better because I had to roll it on the work table and then put it inside the mold, right? So this was neater than the one I used a rolling pin to roll. This one was much better, though it took longer time, but at least it gave me what I wanted. So I think when you want to use a mold, you should also try it this way. Please, if at this point you've not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe, comment, like and share my videos. Ask your questions in the comment sections. I always respond to questions. Please tell us where you're watching us from and we will send you a hug in our next video. So you see, like I said, this one worked better, and sprayed water on it and then just wrapped it on the cake. You see, so like I said, it's a Roblox cake, so I needed to cut them out. These are just cutters, red. So the cake is for Nathan. He turned 11. So I needed to also cut that out. The light was gone again, but I wasn't bothered because I knew they'll bring it back in no time. I just continued working. So see how I got it, arranged it on it, and then use this smoother and smoothing it out, same way I did for the Nathan. But eventually I did not use the name, the list lettering, because it was sticking out of the board. So I had to just the light has gone again, so I had to just put the name on the board like that, because this one was sticking out. The board wasn't spacious enough for it. So for the, I don't know if they are trees or something, I needed to use a what's it called, dual rod. Thank you. That's what I've been trying to remember. Dual rod. I applied I used a brown fondant on it for the trees, right? Then for the balls, I used you see this ball is a false ball, so I just wrap it with it because I knew if I use fondant for it, the fondant will be weighty. Yeah, it may fall off on the cake, so that's why I thought to use these balls. So after smoothing it out, I just inserted the first balls inserted the rolling pin, the dough rod into the ball, just like that. That was done. So I needed to do another one, just like that. So I needed to attach the stickers. After sticking it together with a skewer, I cut them out with fondants, just like that, and then I steamed the cakes and we were all done. So 4 cakes in 40 minutes. Did you learn anything new? Kindly let me know in the comment section. Drop comments, drop your questions, let us know where you're watching us from, and we will send you a hug in our next video. Thank you so much for staying glued to this page. I do not take your love and your support for granted. See you in my next video. Bye.